And so I had gotten to the point where in my early 40s, I was 200 pounds. I wasn't ever, crazy unhealthy, but it was to the point where my doctor was like, hey man, you need to lose some weight. We may push on some blood pressure medication. My cholesterol was getting high. Blood pressure was not healthy. And I need to give a shout out to Dr. Ramsey because he was my first doctor when I moved back to the Hill Country. And he goes, Jim, you need to lose 40 pounds. And I was insulted. I was like, you're great. What are you talking, 40 pounds? Like I was literally insulted to the point where I was like, I need a new doctor.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy, 40 pounds. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And so I actually saw him recently. Through my whole journey, I've lost 40 pounds. And so I went from 200 pounds down to about 160, losing the 40 pounds, blood pressure is great. Plus all my values are just great. And so I just saw him recently and I said, hey, remember when you told me I had to lose 40 pounds? And I kind of was insulted. And he was like, well, and I was like, well, I've lost 40 pounds.
Welcome back to Through Their Stride. I'm your host, Sam Sutton, and today I'm joined by Fredericksburg runner Jim LeRoux. In high school, Jim raced competitively in cross country and track and field and was pretty good at it. But through his studies in college, building a family, and just life getting in the way, he fell into some bad habits as an adult. But after he started seeing his daughter flourish in the sport, he fell in love with it again and is now clocking respectable times of sub-19 5Ks, sub-40 10Ks, and even a marathon PR of 3:14:48. This is a story about how one special thing or person can bring you back to the person you always wanted to be. I'm so excited for you to hear this one, and without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, well, we are rolling, so welcome to another episode of Through Their Stride here out in the Texas Hill Country on some beautiful land with Jim LeRoux. So Jim, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the 5-mile run. That was a lot of fun. Like I told you, my long run this week was 5 miles, so that was perfect.
It's a great route.
Yeah, awesome. So we talked a little bit while we were out in running, but I didn't really ask you a whole lot about your running journey. So I guess my first question is, so how did you kind of get started running? What did it happen when you were out living in Wisconsin, or was that did it kind of happen later?
More high school. So I was 7th, 8th grade year. So I went to high school in Hawaii, and that was the start of my journey. My dad was a runner, so that's kind of how I got into it. So he used to do like local road races back in Wisconsin, and so he would take us to the races. And so I've always knew that kind of sounded fun, and going to a race and the excitement and all that. I knew someday I wanted to do that. So in Wisconsin, you could play hockey and swim were kind of the two big sports, and baseball a little bit. And so did a little bit of that. Didn't get into running, but got into high school, 7th grade year, cross country. And so I got the bug, did cross country, track, and then all through high school, I ran pretty seriously. We're cross country, track, and that was really the start of the whole running, the running bug.
Awesome. And then were you more of a track or cross country guy? Which one was your favorite?
I love cross country. That was always my jam. It was just so much fun. We would run on golf courses in Hawaii, and so it was just some of the most beautiful places you could run. Our coach would take us on these long runs in the valleys in Hawaii. We could go on these long trail runs, and it was just so pretty.
Yeah.
Our reward was also, we would go to, at the end of the long run, our reward was a Slurpee.
Love it.
So we would go for a long run, and then he'd take the whole team. This is back in the 90s. He'd throw us in the back of his pickup. We'd drive to 7-Eleven, and he'd buy us all Slurpees.
That's
So
awesome.
it was like, that was our sugar reward for those long runs. So yeah.
I gotta say, like, obviously running in the hill country is beautiful, but I can't imagine Hawaii. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I think I'm a little jealous of that.
It was fun, and in Hawaii, so I lived on Oahu, and so for the state cross country meets, I was very blessed that I was decent at it, where I made varsity my freshman year. So every year the state meets would be on a different island. So our state cross country trip was getting on a plane, flying to Kauai, Maui, or the Big Island for the state meets. And again, it was also at these beautiful resort places, and it was really neat.
That's awesome. Okay, and so did you run competitively in college too? Did that kind of translate into?
I did not. So after high school, I wasn't really ready for college. So I took a year off and just kind of worked, kind of trying to find my way.
Yeah.
Worked a couple of weird jobs. Did a restaurant. Did like a furniture warehouse. Kind of a weird thing, but it was just wanted to find when the time was right. And so by the time I got into college, it was just study. Just the goal was just to graduate and to study. So I did not run. I did a little bit on my own. So I still love to run. So I would do I still would train, do the occasional 5Ks, but nothing competitively.
Yeah. And then after college, you told me when we were at the Wildflower Run a few weeks ago that you had kind of an interesting story where you were pretty competitive and you loved running, and then you kind of fell out of it and maybe kind of lost your fitness, lost your way a little bit, and kind of found back later on. So can you tell me a little bit about that story?
Sure. Yeah. So my 20s were kind of college, still doing fitness, still staying fairly fit. And then you meet a girl, got married, we started having kids, and then you become dad.
Yeah.
And so then I was in dad mode, and just your priorities shifted. So I went from whenever I had free time, it was like my family was my priority. So it was like hikes with the family. We still were somewhat active, but it wasn't like a training devoted to running goals, that kind of thing. So family dad was basically all of my 30s, and a good part into my early 40s was just being a dad. So I was taking care of the kids, helping coach soccer, doing some baseball coaching, and I just kind of let myself go. And so I had gotten to the point where in my early 40s, I was 200 pounds. I wasn't ever, crazy unhealthy, but it was to the point where my doctor was like, hey man, you need to lose some weight. We went push on some blood pressure medication. My cholesterol was getting high. Blood pressure was not healthy. And I need to give a shout out to Dr. Ramsey, because he was my first doctor when I moved back to the hill country. And he goes, Jim, you need to lose 40 pounds. And I was insulted. I was like, you're crazy. What are you talking 40 pounds? Like I was literally insulted to the point where I was like, I need a new doctor.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy, 40 pounds. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And so I actually saw him recently, because I essentially jokingly fired him. But through my whole journey, I've lost 40 pounds. And so I went from 200 pounds down to about 160.
Yeah, which is perfect.
Losing the 40 pounds, blood pressure is great. Cholesterol, all my values are just great. And so I just saw him recently and I said, hey, remember when you told me I had to lose 40 pounds? And I kind of was insulted. And he was like, well, and I was like, well, I've lost 40 pounds. You were exactly right. So
Yes.
I give him all the praise to say, you know what, you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, it was exactly right.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening and kickstarted me was, of course, the doctor was a humbling thing where you're like, okay, oh my gosh, like, your dad, you want to be around for your kids and enjoy life. And so I started just walking. So started to walk, trying to get healthy. My daughter, right around that same time, this is right before COVID, she joined cross country August of 2020, 7th grade cross country with Fredericksburg. And just seeing her start to get the bug, and she started to have early success, which is helpful that she was able, hey, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
And so she just started taking to it. And I was like, okay, well, I love running too. And so I wanted to say, if I can get healthy, I can run with my daughter.
Yeah.
So that was my main motivation, was wanting to run with her. And so it was a Wildflower Run in like 2021, just after COVID.
Yeah.
And we ran it together. She won the race. So she was overall
really?
female. I was losing weight, but still pretty big.
Yeah.
I was struggle busing to like finish the race. At one point in the race, there was this little kid. She could have been like 7 or 8. And she was like passing me. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this little girl do this. So the whole race, I'm going back and forth. And I finished it. And I think it was like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, where I was just trying my best to finish and not die. And then after that race, seeing her win it and having her just being like a proud dad, like, oh, my daughter like won this race. Like, how cool is that? So I was like even more motivated to want to get better so I could run with her.
Yeah.
And so then my goal shifted to, rather than just being fit, I want to be able to run with my daughter.
Yeah.
So that was the motivation, was run, walk to the point where I could get running with her. And then I got to the point where I could then pace her.
Yeah.
And so I just, over the next 4 or 5 years, I just stayed consistent, started losing the weight, started feeling good. We would go on runs together. I would go to her cross country and track meets and just get more motivated. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool as a dad to see your kids like have success and just to enjoy something. And so just the joy I would get watching her run was just like, it was the absolute best thing.
Yeah.
And so we did races together. We did like the Cap Techs. We did Wildflower Runs. It was like our thing. We kind of ran together. And so that was it, man. That kind of got my fire, started, and the rest has been history, because I've just taken that then, and I won't tell her that, but now I've kind of surpassed her to where now I can run with her, to pace her to.
Yep.
So yeah,
Does she still run?
She graduates this year. She graduates in a few days.
Okay.
It's crazy, but so she did not run her senior year. She just was like, I want to just focus on school,
Mm-hmm.
and so that kind of broke my heart.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, you're cheating me out of watching you run, but she still does run, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to guilt her into, hey, come on, Ella, let's get back and let's do more runs. And so I tried to get her. I thought I was going to get her to run this last wildflower,
Yeah.
but she wasn't ready. It's like, hey, next year we're gonna
Yeah.
do it together. So
Oh man. But that's so cool though. It's like, like it's almost like your kid, and seeing your kid doing the hard things and doing the things that you love and doing so well at it kind of awoke something in you, and it awoke that childhood, like the talent that you had, to like chase it again. And now here you are, like every time I see you on Athlete Guild or, the local races on Strava, you're like one of the top 5 overall in the 5Ks and 10Ks. And I'm like, man, like Jim's quick. So,
it's been fun for
yeah.
sure.
So
It's
what's,
fun.
since then, and since finding it in you, obviously you've had a lot of like 18-minute, I think I've seen some like 17 minutes and like some fast 10Ks as well. What are your goals kind of as a runner?
Good question. So I've stopped thinking about like the PRs when I was a younger man.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, I kind of jokingly say it's my old man PRs. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to reframe your goals. And so I'm trying to, like when I go to a race, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to win my age group. And then some races, depending on who's there, I try to like, maybe I'll go for top 3, like overall, some of these local races, depending on what high school kids are there. And, but right now I want to be healthy. So
Yeah.
I want to be healthy. I want to have this be a sustainable hobby. I love running. I would love to be able to do this throughout my 50s into my 60s. And so I'm trying, I still have some speed. I'm trying to capitalize on still trying to run fast at times, but do it in a smart way where I don't get injured.
Yeah.
Because when a couple of years ago, I started really just doing too much and I got some overuse injuries.
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying with wisdom, and I work in a PT clinic. So I'm like, okay, listen to the experts. Let's have some goals that are more sustainable. So right now I'm trying to train for a marathon, and I have a very crazy lot. My initial goal was try to do sub 3.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, I ran a marathon, and I did go with sub 3, and it was going great until it didn't. And so it was one of those things where it was going great, and then mile 18 or 19, it kind of got off the tracks, and I ended up finishing 3:15 something.
Okay.
So still decent.
Yeah,
I got a Boston qualifier. I was happy with for an old guy to get that kind of a time, but I felt like it was unfinished business. I was like, I feel like I can still do a little better than that. So I'm running Grandma's Marathon, June 20th. The goal was sub 3, but I had a few things pop up during the training block. So now I'm either going to shoot for that, or more realistically, at my age group now, it's 3:20.
Yeah.
It's a Boston qualifying. So if I can get close to where I got last time,
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Yeah. I mean, like 3:15, like I feel like that's totally in the cards for you, like looking at your times and your training. So I'm excited to see that happen.
I hope so. That the first one, I didn't have a smart nutrition plan.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of getting back into running, and I was like, I can do this. And so I had very little education on like sodium and carbohydrates. And so I have been educating myself on nutrition as that's one of the huge components of long distance running. So especially now with all the fancy gels and the salt sticks and the carbon chews. So I'm hoping that I'll be a little smarter with more sodium and better nutrition.
Yeah.
I follow this guy, Eric Floberg.
Love Eric.
And so he just did, he ran like 2:29 in Boston.
Yeah.
And he goes through in detail, like his plan. I think he said he did like 100 carbs the first hour. And I was like, huh. So he's like, you should think about front loading your carbohydrates. And so I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to get that aggressive, but I definitely have been training on my long runs with taking the gels, doing more sodium, doing stuff like Element, and trying to keep that up. Because I think that's where I crashed. Was I didn't have the gels I had were no sodium. It was just the carbohydrate, and I was just drinking water. So I was like, I think I can do better.
Yeah. No, the fueling these days, I mean, the science behind it has come so far. And like, when I first ran my first marathon back in 2023, I knew nothing about fueling at all. I didn't take any carbs. All I did was drink like electrolytes that were on course, which were like noon electrolytes. And so they were not quality. And paid for it. But then ever since then, I've been trying the carbs and like trying gels, different kinds of gels. I think Morton has been my favorite
Or
so
it's a
far.
good one. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's amazing what carbs will do for you, and like salt and everything. So what is your feeling? What do you use?
Right now I'm using this called Goo Roaccutane
Yeah.
gel. My father-in-law.
Oh, cool.
When he come by and stop and say hi to us. Let's see if he says hi to us.
Good. How are you?
We're enjoying the view.
Yeah.
I've tried this Roaccutane goo. It's a little bit more expensive goo gel, but it has sodium, amino acids, and carbohydrate.
Yeah.
And I think it's close to 20 something grams of carbohydrate per packet. So my goal is to try to shoot six or seven for the race, like one every 4-ish miles.
Yeah.
And then I'll be taking a bunch of sodium additions. I've got a bunch of these like salt stick chews you can do.
Yep.
I did a triathlon in Kerrville well, it wasn't this 2 years ago because it was canceled last year because of the flood.
Right.
But the Kerrville Tri is always in end of September. And the last several times it's been like 90 degrees when you hit the run course.
Oh.
So the last one, I started doing those salt, and I thought that was like a level up game changer where I could just take that sodium, and when you feel the cramps coming on,
Yeah.
let me suck down some of that salt, and I knock on wood, it helped. So I'm hoping with the marathon that'll help me.
Yeah.
And I'm also praying that in Minnesota in June it won't be 80
so bad.
degrees.
Yeah.
It should be hopefully 50s. I ran the race 3 years ago, and it was when we were having it was a crazy heat wave, and there's a bunch of fires in Canada.
Oh yeah.
So it was an uncommon hot day where end of the race it was like 85 degrees. People were just having a hard time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this year it's a little cooler.
Yeah. That's one of my dream races is Grandma's. I see a lot of good things about it, and it's a beautiful course. So
You can't find a prettier course. I think it's on like the top 6 for if you're trying to PR
yeah.
for a marathon for like a flat point to point. It's not a net negative, but it's because I think now Boston you have to have some. You can't have a net negative for a Boston qualifier. So I don't think it's 300 or 400 feet, something like that. So it's still pretty good.
That's awesome. And then as far as training goes, between your previous marathon when you ran 3:15 and now, what has changed? What have you adapted, and what's been working?
So I got a little bit more aggressive with the cross training. The first marathon build, I went with like a out of the book kind of a cookie cutter kind of a intermediate marathon training plan.
Yeah.
And it would have run and rest. And when I did the triathlon cross training, one of the things I think was a game changer, level up for fitness, was the pool.
Oh yeah.
And so I swam a lot when I was a kid, and so I've always been a decent swimmer. But when I thought I was fit, I jumped in the pool and I realized how fit I was not.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's like you start swimming and you're working muscles that you didn't know you had. And so I started swimming. And so now I've been trying to do 1 or 2 days a week at the wellness center. I'll go to the 25-yard pool.
Mm-hmm.
Most nights you can go and have the whole pool to yourself. And so I've been trying to do 1 day a week with that. And I just feel like that just kicked my fitness up, where I feel you can still get in the endurance work. You're not putting stress on these old knees and hips.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do a day of bike.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 4 or 5 days of running. And then if it's a day of swimming and maybe a bike day. So those are like my rest days.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. The swimming is insane how much it humbles you. Like I've jumped in the pool at the wellness center a couple of times, and I've tried to do a few laps, and I'm like, good Lord, like I'm not fit at all. Like,
I promise you, I tell people like it's a game changer. Like if you want to really kick up your fitness, it took me years to get back into swimming. It was kind of like my running journey. I didn't run for a long time. I didn't swim forever. Got back in the pool. It took me a long time to get to the point where now I can swim almost a mile without stopping.
no way.
And then that, again, it just, your heart rate, like my resting heart rate goes down, your fitness, it translates really well to the running.
I need to get back in because I love swimming, and like I know it would bring me a lot of joy and like give me a lot of fitness. So you might have inspired me to do that.
Check it out, because I'm not a treadmill guy, and when those winters in Texas winters and it's cold or it's wet, I just hate, and I know it's good. I'm not a fan of the treadmill.
Yeah.
And so in those days, I'll jump in the pool instead. And I feel like they say that like swimming a mile can equate to running 4 miles.
Oh, really?
So it really can be, in a short amount of time, you can still get the benefit.
So as someone who does know much about swimming, how many like back and forth is a mile?
So I did So I'm on Saturday. I did 84 laps, and it was like 1.7 miles.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess you could do the math, but I mean, it's 1650 or so, 17 something hundred yards.
Uh-huh.
So it's probably 75 laps, something like that, for a
75.
mile.
And that's out and back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so so the negative of the pool, just for the people listening, it's not the most fun thing either. Like treadmills are boring, and staring at a black line for 30 minutes is also boring because
Yeah.
assuming you're just and I don't have the waterproof headphones, but some people have.
Yeah.
I don't have that, so it's just inner
You and
peace.
yourself,
Yeah, you're just doing like with running. So you just kind of self-talk, but yeah, swimming back and forth, maybe it's not the most fun thing, but the fitness benefits are great.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, obviously this is a running podcast, so we love running.
Right, exactly.
But running
good
is pounding that pavement,
Right.
pounding those roads. So like, it's a lot less intensity on your body than swimming is. So.
And that's the wisdom part that I try to talk about is where I'm 49.
Yeah.
And so, I have been very fortunate not to have anything major wrong. And I've had some MRIs recently and my knees are still great, hips are good, but I want to maintain that. Like I said earlier,
Yes.
I want this to be a sustainable hobby that I absolutely love running. I want to do it for the rest of my life if I can. And so if I can substitute a day by swimming and still maintain my fitness, well, it's worth it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, awesome. And then, your story has been super inspiring to me, just hearing it now about like how you were able to bring yourself back to, where you once were and be able to chase your passion again and chase running and chase big marathons. If you could go back and tell yourself when you were kind of losing your fitness and obviously probably having a lot of fun as a dad, but just losing a lot of your dream, what would you tell your past self if you could go back in time?
Stop listening to all the excuses, because I remember I would joke with my boss at the time when I was in my like mid 30s. I'd always say, you know what, I'm going to get back to running, because I've always loved running. I just always wanted to, but I had every excuse in the book. It was like, this is going to be the year, Sam. And I'd be like, I tell my boss, I'm going to get back into running. And then I just wouldn't do it. And I'd have this excuse or that excuse. And there's always going to be some kind of an excuse, but you have to have that intrinsic motivation. And so for whatever reason, it wasn't right. I didn't have the right motivation. I just needed that thing to tell me like, hey, this is going to, I would say, listen to your body and find that motivator that's important to you. Because once you find it, I mean, the rest is history. Like once I had that moment where it was my health scare, and then it was the joy of watching my daughter and me wanting to run with my daughter.
Yeah.
That was all it took. It was just like, don't look back. And then I would say too, just try to be healthy. Cause I mean, you can make some unhealthy choices in life too. It can get really easy to get home from work and be like, oh, that couch looks really comfortable. So I'm just gonna sit on the couch and have a Coke or have some Doritos. And that was kind of my life for a long time. You get home from work, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But what I try to tell people is you don't realize, like, once you start doing things actively, you get more energy.
Yeah.
And so now I get home from work, I'll go for a run.
Yeah.
Like today, got home from work, we did a run. I feel great. And it's like, I feel like I can just, what time is it? 7:25. I'm good for another several hours. Like, I hit that couch. And so it's just like, it's until you do it, you don't realize it. But once you can find that motive, find something you love, number one. If you don't love running, find something else.
Yes.
Whether that's cycling or hiking or rollerblading, whatever. It's got to be something that you love. Pickleball, right? Tennis. I mean, golf. People love golf. Just something that can get you active.
Yeah.
For me, I was very fortunate that I loved running. I had the right motivation at the right time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I think there's a lot of people out there who say they want to get into it. You know what I mean? And they maybe do it for a couple of days, and it's like, oh, I'm tired now. I'm sore. I'm busy. I'm, whatever it is. And it's that habit building, right? Like, what helped you to build that habit and get back into those rhythms?
For me, it was being consistent. So when I first started, I couldn't run a mile. Like I was not fit enough to run a mile. So I was lucky enough where in Kerrville, where I work, they have a river trail. They just kind of got the river trail going at the time that I started getting back into fitness. So where my clinic is, we're not far from the river trail. So I would go at lunch break, go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was every day, I was 10,000 steps. I bought an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, this Apple Watch, I was like, oh yeah, you can do the little goals. You want my circles to close. And so I was like, okay, 10,000 steps every day was my goal. And I was determined, didn't matter what, Sam, I was going to get my 10,000 steps. And so I would either at lunch, I'd walk, or I'd come home. I've got a golden retriever. That thing is a crazy, loves energy. He loves to walk. He is another motivation buddy where you come home and he's like, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And so if I didn't have my steps in, I would walk out here. I'm very blessed. I live in in an area where I
So
can go for beautiful walks. So that's where I started. It was every day. It was a walk, 10,000 steps. And then I started getting towards, I was fit enough where I could maybe do a half mile. So maybe it was a run, walk for a little bit. And then I just kind of build upon that. So I would tell folks, like, don't let the fact that you can't run stop you either.
Yeah.
Like walking is one of the best things you can do. Like I've had surgeons, back surgeons said, walking is the best exercise
Yes.
because it's, relatively low impact. You can still get the fitness. You're moving the human body, right? You're outside, nature. So that's how it started. It was consistency. So every day was walking. And then as I was getting more fit, as I started losing some weight, and I just lost weight by walking, really. It was like I always kind of ate pretty healthy. I maybe drank a few too many beers. So I kind of cut down a little bit on that, cut out some of the midnight snack kind of stuff.
Yep.
As the weight started going down, yeah, I just walk, run, and then I got to the point where I could run a mile.
Yep.
And then it was like 5K. Let's get back and do a 5K. So that's how it started. And now it's just consistency. When every day I try to do something fitness, whether it's the gym, swimming, biking, running, every day I'm trying to do something.
Yep.
So
awesome. And like when you're getting back into it, it's also important not to do too much too soon. Cause like, you can go out and like rip a huge workout at the gym and like lift all these weights and you're like, man, like,
for it.
and I'm going to do this again tomorrow and the next day you're like, sore, can't get out of bed. And then you're like, then you don't go back for a month. So like,
Exactly.
it's finding the little things that you can do that you can slowly build upon.
You have to have balance. And in my profession too, physical therapy, and those are our customers too. So that overuse injuries and those things are popping up. So you've got to do it smart. You must do it smart. So I talk about, practice what you preach. And so for many years, I just would I would ask a colleague about this or that and like, what should I do? And kind of like these little side, like water cooler consults about running. And I've got this going on. And for this build, I was like, I'm going to do things the right way. So one, I would say, what you suggest has been great for me is I actually got in a full official PT eval to see like what was going on, because I want to do things the right way, check up my muscles. Like, let's try to prevent an injury.
Right.
And so I did that. And my eval, the PT that did my eval, she tried to have me do these sit to stand things, the single leg sit to stands. And she was just like, she looked at me and I couldn't do it. I could do a couple of them. And she was like, your glutes are really weak.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you are an extremely efficient runner, but your glutes do not activate. And if you want to be more durable, you need to get your glutes going. So she put me on this exercise routine where I started activating the glutes. And it's just amazing now how, I want to say I'm a better runner, but I feel like I'm more durable. And it's just amazing. So you might think that everything's good.
Yeah.
But until you get a professional to look at you and really do an analysis, look under the hood, I would never known that. And so now I've incorporated a lot of glute stuff and single leg things in the gym that before I was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's going to go towards the sustainability part.
Right.
So
yeah. And I like what you said there about like, you're not necessarily a better runner per se. Like your form hasn't changed, your stride, it's all the same, but you can stay in the game longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because your quads are tighter, you're not going to get any IT band issues. You're not going to start overcorrecting late in a race. So it's, when we're looking for like strength training and cross training, we're not looking to bulk up as runners. We're just looking to make ourselves more durable. So that way the last 10K of a marathon feels like the first 10K. So
exactly. And that was literally the conversation I had today, because today was my research where I went in just, it had a little bit of knee pain, like runner's knee stuff. And they've kind of fixed all that. And now I've got this little foot thing popping up.
Yeah.
But we talked about that exact same thing. As I said, I want to be strong from mile 20 to mile 26 to where I can maintain that and my form won't break down that bad. So she's like, you're doing great. I've made progress from all the things. And so it's just keep what you're doing a couple days a week. If you can just do these running specific things.
Yeah.
And, we'll see. But so far, so good. So I would say definitely if you have the ability to do that, go see a professional. Whether it's a gait analysis or a full evaluation, see what's going on, it'll pay off in the long run. Because if you don't do that, and if you're doing something wrong or you're not activating your glutes, then you're getting an IT band, then you're gonna get runners, then you're gonna get Achilles, something going on with your feet. So anyway.
Awesome. And then, so you're 5 weeks out.
Yes.
From your race, from grandma's. What is the feelings right now? Are you nervous, excited, or what's you haven't entered the taper yet, so you're basically at the peak right now. So
I'm ramping up. So I am always like the worst case scenario kind of a guy. So I did not buy my tickets for the longest time, as I kept saying, well, I'm going to get injured or I've got this going on. And I was worried if I buy the tickets, then you're all in, right?
Yep.
So this year, Grandma's, it's the 50th. And so it sold out like in 24 hours. So I got the bib thinking that, okay, well, worst case, I lose my bib, no big deal. But because I've been going through all these little things that popped up where I had a hip thing, I had a knee thing, and I got the split thing. Today, I bought the tickets. So I'm locked in. I feel good. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit my A goal because I had an illness and a thing popped up, but I feel great. I'm super excited. I know the course. I've done it before. I've got my aunt where I'm going to stay. She lives 1 mile from the bus pickup. So I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And I've gotten to the point to where even if I finish, because I mean, marathon builds, it's like getting to the starting line is the hard part, right?
No, for sure.
So if you can get there, then the rest of it is like, that's a celebration of what you've done. So I don't know if I'll be completely 100% healthy, but I'm going to get my best try. And I am definitely excited. So my wife and I are going to go up there. We're flying in on Wednesday. The race is on a Saturday. And so, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm super excited, and we'll see how it goes. Hope for a good day.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I think, you know, I can foresee a really good personal best. Just like you said, you got to be able to get that look and, you know, do those little exercises, and it's those little things that make you the better runner. So yeah, well, cool. Well, before I let you go, I know we're kind of losing our daylight here, but I wanted to go through a few rapid fires.
Sure.
So my first question is, we just ran a really beautiful route, but what are some of your favorite routes in the hill country to run?
I got to probably give a shout out to the River Trail, just because I think it's such an amazing thing for that town. They have that resource. It's so pretty. Even after the flood, it has changed, and it was a kind of an emotional thing for me.
Yes.
With all of what happened with Kerrville and the flood, but that's probably still my number one. The one that we just did today is probably one of my favorite segments. Love that one. I love Enchanted Rock.
Yep.
Loop Trail. So I absolutely love doing that one. Those are probably my top three that I'd say I love doing.
I want to touch on the River Trail. Yeah, I ran that 5K. I guess it was 2 weekends ago now, or yeah, 2 weekends ago. And yeah, it's definitely it was definitely emotional to see it. I mean, and just to be out there again. And the week before that, my wife and I just went out to Kerrville and touched the water, because we were like, I just want to make peace with it. You know what I mean? Because we hadn't been out there since the flood, and kind of sitting out there on a park bench, and we're just like, man, it's surreal.
Yeah.
You know,
it was an emotional thing for me, because I had ran it for so many years, and we have had some people that we knew that were affected with the flood, and our foreman, we're going through a major remodel at the clinic. The foreman actually lost his life in the flood, and so I knew him, and so it was rough. And so a lot of us that have been in Kerrville for a long time, it took us a long time to get back on the trail.
Yeah.
So it took me many months before it had even reopened to where I was ready. But once I was ready, I got back out there. Is it different? Yes. But it's still beautiful. And I think we just need to kind of, with time, it'll get easier. But yeah, it was an interesting, rough first run. But I ran it yesterday. The trees are coming back. Does it look different? Absolutely. But it's still beautiful. And yeah, get back out there and do it.
Awesome. And then what is your go-to recovery meal of choice?
Good question. Looks like after a tough workout.
Yeah, a long run or something, or even after a marathon or something.
Probably pizza. Yeah. I just love pizza's my favorite food. I don't know if you ever do Easy Pizza. So the owner, he goes to St. Mary's, and just a nice guy. He's a veteran. He's the nicest guy, and so he's a local business, and it's take and bake. And so what I like is I can go get the pizza, bring it home. It's hot. You're supporting a local business.
Yeah.
It's good carbohydrate.
Yeah.
He has this cheeseburger one.
Oh, wow.
It's a ground beef, and it's a white side. Anyway, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be that, and he does really good pear salad. So the pear salad with the pizza, that's my jam.
Man, I met that guy when he first got there, and he was doing I did a feature story on when I worked for the paper. He had helped to, he was giving free pizzas out to
the kids that get straight A's.
Yeah.
That's so cool. He puts a picture on the wall.
Yeah, and I thought that was so cool. We've been there once. We need to go back because the pizza was delicious. But
yeah, there was a place in Kerrville. It's called Bubba J's years ago, and it was a family business, same kind of a model, where it was take and bake, and I went there almost once a week. It's way too much. But I was running, so I felt it's okay. You're running. I can eat the carbohydrates, right? So he retired, and his kids didn't want to go to the business, so the business closed down.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay. And then we tried there's some good pizza places in Fredericksburg, but whatever reason, Easy Pizza is kind of our go-to. We like Prometheus too.
Oh yeah.
My daughter loves Prometheus pizza. That one's great. And then we also do Social House sometimes. And what's the other one? West End.
Oh, West End. Yeah. Yeah. I think my favorite pizza is probably Prometheus. I used to do a run club with the Prometheus guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm hoping to start that up again soon, maybe this summer when I have a little more time. So.
Well, yeah, let me know, because I know I've heard all these rumors about Fredericksburg Run Club, and the guys used to do that, and I think it's kind of faded off through the years or whatever. But that's something that it's always better to run with friends.
Yeah.
When you have a bunch, just a marathon builds, those miles can get lonely.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
have to run those 20 milers, and you're like, okay, I can only listen to podcasts for so long.
Awesome. Well, my last question is, so if you could give anyone a reason to go out for a run today, what would it be?
I guess, how important is your health? What I would say. It's just, it is such a spiritual experience when you're getting out there on the road in nature. Like just today, we went for a run. We could see deer and there's cows, and we saw a couple of cars. It's just one of the most rewarding things you can do that benefits you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Mentally, spiritually, it's my de-stress. It's my counselor. Yeah. It's my go-to.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like my fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for coming on and for running with me today and talking with me. I always love whenever I get to have locals on, because I get to do this run and film. We only have to film 10 minutes of it, but it'll be good little B-roll from behind some of this. So it's always fun to run on their favorite routes. So this was great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much.